Welcome back. You are tuned in to One on One. And today, I want to do a very special shout out to some very special people across the pond in England. Would you believe there are people in England watching this very show? I want to give a special shout out to Pat and Tony Fletcher and to Diane and Ellen Towns. We know you're watching, and we know that there's other people in England watching as well. We've gone international. Speaking of international, we have a guest today that you will not believe. This guest is an international peacemaker. He has been all around the world with some of the greatest leaders of our time. My name is Vin Dacquino. Our guest today is none other than J.Reuben Silverbird. Reuben, it is a pleasure to have you here today. In fact, it's an honor. And I know before we begin, you wanted to do a little something?
Of course. You know, it's the Indian way. Mm-hmm. We always do a blessing before we
blessing is good.
have an event,
Blessing's
whatever meeting we have. And I think this is a very wonderful occasion.
It is.
And since we're worldwide, I'd like to do a blessing with my flute.
Okay.
And worldwide people, if you'll just close your eyes as I play, it'll be a blessing for the peace, spiritual peace that we need in the world. Okay?
Reuben, I feel peaceful already.
Thank you. It should help the world because, you know, the flute is a healing instrument. Music is healing.
Yes, it is.
Dancing is healing. Singing is healing. And that's what we need in the world.
Yes.
More people singing and dancing and listening to music that makes them smile.
And I know you are a musician yourself. You've worked with a number of musical groups.
Of course.
Yeah.
And, you know, I call myself a lucky Indian because I've been able to fall into things that come to me naturally. I have not gone after them. Like, for instance, one of the things that happened to me is the world news of the U.S. news, which is very international.
Yes, it is.
And if you notice, this magazine goes all over the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a beautiful cover.
And it talks about our people, which are important part of America. You see, America, unlike Europe, who has all these antiques, America has none. The only antiques they have are the Indians.
There you go.
It's us. We are the antiques of this country. And, you know, I've been lucky. One time, this friend called me to come to Carnegie Hall. And she said, I want you to see a very special group. And the group was the Vienna Boys Choir.
Yeah.
And it was just wonderful to work with these people. I mean, I was elated when they asked me to go. It was so wonderful that they did 8 of my songs, and some of them were in Cherokee and Apache.
So you had the Vienna Choir singing in your native language.
That's right.
Wonderful.
It was a beautiful, beautiful scene for the people of Europe. And hopefully it'll happen again maybe in America because they travel a lot all over the world.
Wow.
And, you know, my reviews for shows that I've done concerning Indians in America have been wonderful. I worked with at La Mama in Manhattan twice.
Wow.
And the reviews were very favorable. and these are shows that are that deal with American Indians, okay? Because I'm not Irish, so I've got to talk about my people.
Yeah.
And although I'll tell you, it's been a wonderful thing. I've somehow I've appeared with people like Paul Newman,
Oh, wow.
Joanne Woodward,
Wow.
Floyd Westerman, one of our very great actors. I called him. Floyd Westerman was the Freeman of the Indian people because
Wow.
he was so the camera loved him.
Yeah.
And he's gone now to another world, but his memory is with me all the time. Floyd Westerman, Red Crow. You know, I've done a lot of wonderful things. I got to tell you that my travels to Israel, I've been there 4 times.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been there more than once.
Yes, I met with President Arafat.
Wow. Oh, yeah, look at that.
And I also I did a blessing for him, you know. There's one place where I did a blessing for the president and for the mayor of Jerusalem as well.
Wow.
There it is. There's
There's your famous flute.
Okay. And that's become that flute was made for me as a gift by an Australian.
Wow.
And it's wonderful. Now, I tell you, the concerts that I've done in Israel, there was a concert, I'll show you the preparations for this concert were tremendous. They had booked 500 people to come to this concert.
Wow.
And 2,500
Oh my
people
God.
showed up. I mean, it
They
was,
expected 500 and got 2,500.
and that night, this is what the place looked like at night, because they were all sitting outside. And this is something that you will notice. You see, there it is, this night of the concert.
Wow.
Isn't it? I mean, it was amazing.
It's like a regular rock concert.
But I was doing a one-man show.
Wow.
And it was a beautiful thing for me. It was one of the most memorable concerts that I've done in my life. Of course, the one with the Vienna Voice Choir was very, very exceptional as well.
So it was moving for you as well as for your audience.
Oh my goodness, yes. You know, this is very important. I've done recordings. When I first went to Europe, there were 2 buses that came from Germany. And they got out and they surrounded me. And they said, "Are you J.Reuben Silverbird, who had a CD called The World in Our Eyes?" My goodness, my CD was so big that I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful CD. I've heard that too.
You know, and it was the first 2-hour CD that was ever made in America.
Wow.
I started the revolution of New Age.
Wow.
I was the beginner of this whole concept.
Wow.
Okay, so these are kind of coups on my hat, as
Yeah,
they say.
I hear you.
I've had. There's a book that I wrote.
Yeah.
That tells my whole history.
So in addition to all of these other things, you're also an author.
Yes, I've done. I had this book, My Life in Two Worlds.
Yeah.
And
I have that book. It's
Yes,
a
you
wonderful
have this book. It's My Life in Two Worlds is my life in the Indian world and the white world, because it's very important, you know. It's very important that Indians not adapt, but they should be able to know the rest of humanity on this planet.
Yeah.
And I've had that wonderful pleasure to be able to travel. This has been a gift.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thank my parents for this. My parents were so instrumental in this. I can't tell you how much of... I was in Australia 4 times.
Wow.
The last
So
tour
you've been
was...
in Israel 4 times. You've been in Australia 4 times.
Yes.
You ever stay home, Reuben?
No, but you know why? Why 4? Because the Apache number, the sacred number for our people, the Apaches, is 4.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
4. And that's the sacred number. We have 6 and 7, but that's the Cherokee now. okay,
Wow.
of which I'm a mixed blood,
Ah.
okay. Nedni Apache is a Mexican Apache from the Sonora Mountains, and the Cherokee is from my mother's side, the Blair side. I think it's wonderful that you have me on your show.
I'm glad to have you. Now, the Australian tour, the theme of that was Sowing Seeds of Love.
Yes.
I love that title.
Sowing seeds of love and peace. Okay? And it was a marvelous 7-city tour.
Wow.
And I got to work because, you know, I had requested the first time that I went to work with Aborigines of Australia. They have had the same kind of life we've had in America. And on my last tour, they came on and they danced and they played the didgeridoo and they told stories. It was wonderful working with them.
Sounds pretty wonderful.
I'm thrilled that you know, I'm able to travel, but I thank parents. Parents are very important in this world. You know,
So do you direct some of your programs to children?
Oh, most definitely. You know, the children, they're a little misguided today in a way. I'll tell you why. Today, the father has to work, the mother has to work to be able to pay the mortgage, to get the food on the table, which has become more expensive every day. You know, these things are not easy. So the children are not like probably you as well. You and I, we spent our time, we would come home and we knew mother would be there cooking or something, but mother would be waiting at home, at least.
Yeah.
Or
So family is
grandparents.
very important in your heritage.
You know, the Indian has always thought of the tree, the basis of the tree. If you have wonderful roots, you have flowering branches.
Yeah, there. You know, somewhere in the translation, we've lost some of the values, family values, and it's so important to understand love of family. And I know love of tribe is very important for you too.
Of course.
You know, it's that sense of belonging.
Yes. You see, I have dear friends. We spoke to a friend today from a group called the Rascals.
Oh,
From
yes,
New York, okay?
Yes.
And we spoke today, and he is in Kentucky right now.
Wow.
With his 97-year-old mother.
Wow.
This is important, you see. Parents are important.
Yeah.
My parents gave me such wonderful gifts that I carry with me and I talk to people about them. They're gifts that only your father and your mother can give. And, you know, for me to just see my mother and father, the way they would look at each other, I knew the love they had for each other.
And I know you have a very high respect for elders.
Oh, my goodness.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes I get so upset to see how many people, as they have gotten older, have been forgotten, neglected. That's something you don't believe in at all.
No, not at all. No, this is very important. You know, you have to honor your grandparents.
Yeah.
They you know, you say sometimes, oh, well, they were mean, they were hard, they were this. No, they were growing with you as much as they did for you. You know, they meant well. And you are what your parents were, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, there you go. So I'd like you to talk to me a little bit about your background. Now, you came from a very interesting background.
You know, my family, I'm the 5th generation of show business.
Wow. So you're a show businessman as well as a peacemaker.
Yes. Well, you can't create peace if you're not in the business of entertaining people.
Yeah.
You must make them happy.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you tell them what life is about. This is very important. You see, I have my friend here, Ron, for instance, a very dear friend of mine.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I
Good
went,
friend of mine too.
okay, Ron Blanco,
Blanco, yeah.
and his wife, they have beautiful backgrounds. I spent many Thanksgiving days with Ron. You know, I don't believe in Thanksgiving because it wasn't a very pleasant time for our people. But when I spent times with Ron and his grandmother, you know, Ron doesn't speak English, I mean Italian, and he's Italian. But his grandmother couldn't speak English.
Ah, wow.
You know, and she would say, "Oh, there's the Indian." That's what, you know, she would joke about it.
Yep.
And I spent many times with his whole family. I was not lucky enough to have grandparents from my own side of my family, my mother's side. I barely remember my grandparents from her side, but my father, you know, he lost, you know, Indians lost a lot.
Yeah.
There were certain things that we don't wish to talk about sometimes, but it's been a tragic thing for our people. We have not had good memories to say. I built beautiful memories. You know how I did this? Is by going to Europe and meeting people. Meeting people that I find today, we are all alike.
We are. We are.
We
have to find,
you know,
what it is in us.
That's right.
That is the same, and build on those similarities.
We are no different. We have, I mean, our persona, our brain may be different, but we as children, you know, we can be taught to love and to have peace with one another.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. A couple weeks ago, I went to England for the first time. You know, I've never been overseas.
Oh,
and when I got there, it was amazing to watch how they live, how they love, how they think. We toured London, and we walked all through London. Then I had an amazing experience, Liverpool. You know, when I was growing up, the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles were big time, you know?
Sure.
So I couldn't wait to ferry across the Mersey, to go to the very tavern where the Beatles began, the Cavern. And it was just amazing to see that they're people too. You know?
Of course. You know, John Lennon was an institution. I mean, his one song, Imagine,
Beautiful song.
tells the whole story that I talk about. You know, I have a brand new book coming.
Oh.
It's called Medicine Bag. Okay, the medicine bag is very important to our people. And in this fictional story, I tell a lot of truth. In fact, I say there's a fictional character writing this story, not me. And the fictional character says, it's very hard to write a book when you're trying to say the truth.
Yeah.
You see, and you know, my big, wonderful experience, like I said before, was the Vienna Boys Choir.
Oh.
This was an amazing thing to watch these young boys. This is the love of music that I have also. My parents didn't have a radio in the car when they were traveling. They sang. They were beautiful singers. So I learned from them.
Now, I have to bring this up. It isn't only with the Vienna Boys Choir that you sang. You were with some rock groups too, weren't you?
Yes. I had my own rock group.
So you play the flute, but there's other instruments that you play.
There is a song coming. I'm glad you brought that up. There's a song coming called Geronimo. This is now being prepared as a video. And it's going to be a techno video. Somebody took one of my songs that I recorded many years ago, and it's called Geronimo. I wrote it, wrote the music and lyrics, and somebody heard it in Europe, and he said, oh, this would be a wonderful techno thing, and he worked on it, And when he showed it to me, I said, it's perfect. And you know who's on that? I needed an Indian, other than myself, to play flute and to do a chant. So I called a true Indian from Manhattan. His name is David Amram.
Oh, wow. David Amram is an amazing jazz.
David Amram. I was with David last night.
Oh, wow.
And I did a guest appearance there with him. I sang a song called Roschinkes mit Mandeln. That
Okay.
means, that's Yiddish,
Oh, wow.
okay? I sing in Yiddish.
Oh, wow.
And the song means raisins and almonds. And it's an old traditional Yiddish song. I made people cry, women cry, in Israel when I did it in the concert. I came back for, they kept saying more. I came back, took my guitar and sang this song and made women cry.
Wow. You played what, the bass?
I play
right?
guitar.
Yeah, wow.
Okay,
And
no,
bass-
Ron plays
Oh, Ron
bass.
plays bass,
Yes,
that's right.
Anyway, it's been a wonderful life.
Yeah.
I have spent a time traveling. I'm a nomadic Indian. People say, where's your home? The world is my home.
Yeah, the world is your home.
I've been
I know, because you spend more time out, although you do have a family.
Yes, I do. I have 3 sons.
Wow.
2 of them now are married. One's married in Norway with a beautiful Norwegian girl.
Wow.
Yeah, Katrina. She is gorgeous. And the other one is married to a girl in Vienna.
Oh, Vienna.
Okay. And the other one chose to stay in America because he has 3 children here.
Wow.
And he married a Jewish girl.
So you have to travel just to visit your children.
Yes, yes. And it's wonderful to know that my 3 sons are also musicians and singers
Oh,
and
wow.
writers. They're really, they're carrying on that flow of international music.
How do they feel about your world travel?
Well, I have a grandson already, and this grandson says, "Oh, my grandfather's the spirit." It was just on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
He's a spiritual wise man.
Oh, that's a good name for you.
Okay, because I spread spiritualism throughout the world. My father was a spiritual wise man, and my mother was a medicine woman. But amongst that, they were great singers and entertainers.
No, you've even met some American presidents. Right?
Oh yes, Bill Clinton
Wow.
he had a bus tour. When he did his bus tour for campaigning,
Right.
they had my CD that you played that was on the screen a while ago, "The World in Our Eyes," with them.
Wow.
And he wrote me a letter thanking me.
Wow. And you did a couple blessings at some funerals too.
Oh yes, I've done some wonderful. They took me to the cemetery in Israel, where Golda Meir and all these famous
Yeah.
people, and I did a blessing there
Wow.
as well. The mayor of Jerusalem, of course. The Wailing Wall. I did a thing at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, and I started playing a blessing, and I shut my eyes when I play. And when I opened my eyes at the end of it, I was surrounded by people of all faiths,
Wow.
including Hasidic Jews.
Wow.
It was a wonderful thing to feel.
So we're running low on time, and having you here is such an incredible honor because I know you have a message to deliver. Now that we have an opportunity to speak to so many people, what do we need to say to them, Reuben? This world has become so incredible with deaths and tragedies. And is there light at the end of this tunnel?
The children are the light.
The children are the
The
light.
children are the light. And it takes parentage to be able to have these healthy children, because they're growing up without much guidance today. I believe that they should, to the schools, of the school system, they should bring elders
Yes.
and
yes.
speak
People who
to
have
the
been
children.
there, have been
And
there
s-
and done that.
and speak to the children.
Now,
I started this in Australia, in Europe, and some places are doing this now. They're bringing elders to the schools to speak to the children. Just about everything they did in their
Yeah.
life.
I write books myself, and I
Yes.
write about history, and I say this all the time. If we do not teach the children of today about their yesterday, we're stealing some of their tomorrow.
That's right.
Now, we have a wonderful opportunity, speaking of children, to hear not only you, but the boys' choir.
Oh,
And I think we have a wonderful opportunity to end the show today with a clip of the children actually singing.
I'm for that all. I
so am
love
I.
these kids. Can
So I think we can do that. We can run that clip. Any last thoughts before we run that clip?
Well, again, it's with the children. You know, there are two words. I wrote a song for the elections that are coming up, okay, that are very present. And it's called, If You Can Hear and You Can See, Why Can't You Tell What's Happening Around You?
Oh yeah, that's a good thing for this year's
Okay?
election.
If you can hear and you can see, and we can all hear and see.
Yep. All right,
So-
well, let's run to that clip.
Okay.
Let's hear those boys. I cannot thank you enough for doing such a spectacular job all around the world, spreading the word of peace. And here are the children.
We must finally realize in this world that fights and stands divided that we all belong to one creator.